If you're just joining us, this is a place where we take down the walls brick by brick, pull back the curtain on life's rawest moments. And around here, nothing has ever been off limits. Life, death, the mess, and a few stories I'd honestly rather forget. But I'm going to share them anyway. And this season, we're going deeper than ever, exploring the truth behind the masks we wear and the voices that we sometimes ignore all the time. Today's episode is called The Voice in the Fog. It's about the mysterious power of being heard, even when you least expect it, and how one moment, one voice can change everything, even when you're lost in the thick. Let's dive on in. You're listening to The Mortals, where we talk about life and death and everything beautifully, messily human in between. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so if you want stories that'll make you feel a little more alive and maybe a little less alone, mark your calendar. Set a reminder even, tie a string around your finger, whatever works. And if you haven't hit follow yet, now's your chance. Go ahead, click it. Otherwise, rumor has it you'll end up as the only person at a funeral who forgets the lyrics to Amazing Grace and you accidentally start singing some dumb song like Don't Stop Believing. Don't be that person. Hit follow. Let's get into today's story. When you hear stories of miracles, it's easy to write them off as coincidences, a trick of the mind, a fluke of timing. But every now and then, a story comes that makes you stop, take a breath, wonder what really saved them. And this is one of those stories. It takes place in the quiet hills of Pennsylvania, where fog rolls in like a ghost and roads curl like question marks around deep woods and forgotten ravines, where one teenage girl, just 17 years old, was pulled from certain death by a voice no one can explain. And no, it wasn't her own. Real quick, I just want to put you onto something that completely leveled up how I create. If you've ever thought about starting a podcast or even creating content that looks good and sounds next level, but you say, I don't have the equipment, Descript. And it just dropped something ridiculously wild. It's AI avatars. Say you're terrible in front of a camera, but just imagine being able to generate a video where you read the script, but you don't hit record. You write it. Descript makes it look like it's you saying it, and it looks really good. It doesn't look awkward, not robotic, it's seamless. If you pair that with what Descript already does with helping me with my podcast, editing with text-based, and if you're creating anything, a podcast or content for socials, or even you're just making videos, do not sleep on this. Go to get.descript.com/Nathan Morris to try it for free right now. That's get.descript.com/Nathan Morris. Link is also in the description. Now, back to the mortals. Her name's not Emily, but for the sake of this story, we'll call her that. And it begins, like most mornings in her life, early. Emily had always been a morning person. She lived in a small town where the high school was a 25-minute drive along winding back roads. Roads she could navigate with her eyes closed. And some mornings, she'd drive in total silence, just letting the soft rattle of her old Honda Civic fill the quiet. Other mornings, it was music, blaring, cathartic, her own version of morning coffee. But this morning, it was different. The fog was heavy, thicker than usual. Not the gentle mist that kissed her windshield most autumn mornings. No, this fog was soupy and dense. It didn't move. It swallowed sound. Even with her headlights on full beam, Emily could barely see 5 feet ahead of her. Still, she pressed on. She had an exam that morning in English literature, something about Gatsby. She hadn't finished the last chapter, but she figured she'd skim it before first period. She glanced at her phone just a second to check the time. 7:43 a.m. The turn was coming up. She reached for her water bottle, looked back at the road, but it was too late. There was a patch of wet leaves scattered across the bend like a slick trap. The Civic's tires lost grip. The steering wheel jerked left and then right. Emily slammed the brakes, but the car had already committed. In seconds, it left the road. The descent wasn't sharp at first, but it accelerated, and fast. Trees blurred, branches snapped. The sound, the metal meeting bark, echoes like thunder beneath the canopy. Then silence. The car had come to rest in a gully, shielded by underbrush, hidden from the road. No tire marks visible, no broken branches to guide the eye. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Inside, Emily was conscious, barely. Her leg was pinned beneath the dashboard. Blood trickled from a gash above her eye. Her seatbelt had held, but just by a morsel. She tried to move, screamed. Nothing came out but a hoarse whisper. She fumbled for her phone. The screen was cracked, dead. The fog was so thick, even the dim light from the rising sun couldn't reach her. She was cold, shivering. Emily's body trembled, not just from injury, but fear. And that's when she heard it. A voice. Not inside her head, no. Not a memory. A real voice. Calm, gentle, male. But not anyone she knows. He said, "You need to stay awake." She froze. It didn't sound panicked or rushed even. It wasn't demanding. It was just there. "Can you hear me? Stay awake. I need you to press the horn. Someone will hear it." In that moment, Emily thought she might be hallucinating. Maybe it was the head injury. Maybe she was dying. But the voice didn't let her go. It returned every few minutes, repeating the same instruction. Press the horn. Her hands moved like molasses. She reached for the center of the wheel and pressed. The sound was faint. The battery was draining. But the horn let out this dull, muted honk. Then again and again. Minutes passed, maybe hours. Emily faded in and out. Each time she came to, the voice was still there. You're not alone. Keep going. Help is close. At 9:04 a.m., a woman named Denise Jensen was driving her son to preschool when she thought she heard something. A horn. Just once. She rolled down her window. Nothing. There it was again. It was faint. Just enough, though, to make her stop. She turned into a gravel pull-off and called 911. I think I heard a car horn in the woods. I know it sounds weird, but the dispatcher didn't hesitate. A local trooper had just passed through the area an hour earlier. No sign of anything. But something about Denise's voice made the dispatcher send a unit. It took over 20 minutes for rescue to find Emily. If she hadn't pressed the horn, if Denise hadn't opened her window, if the fog had been any thicker, she would have died. When medics arrived, Emily was unconscious, but alive. They cut her from the car, stabilized her, airlifted her to the nearest trauma center. A broken femur, concussion, severe bruising, no spinal injury, no internal bleeding. She would survive. Weeks later, when Emily could speak again, she told her mother about this voice. She described it clearly, repeated the exact phrases. Her mother, shaken. She said something strange. Years earlier, Emily's grandfather, her mom's father, had died of a heart attack in that exact stretch of woods. He used to take that road daily. He used to say, "You're never really alone. Someone's always riding shotgun." Was it her grandfather? Was it her subconscious? Or was it divine? Science. It tells you it was survival instinct, a neurological echo, the mind trying to protect the body. But Emily doesn't believe that. To this day, she says, I didn't want to live that day. I was in a dark place, but something or someone wanted me to stay. There are stories you hear that change how you think. Then there are stories like this that change how you feel about life, about time, about how thin the veil might be between this world and something more. And whether it was divine, ancestral, or inexplicable, something kept Emily alive. And maybe the most miraculous part of it all is that she listened. Thank you for listening to The Mortals. If you've ever experienced something miraculous, unexplainable, or just need to share your story, be sure to join The Mortals. Link is in the description. Your story might be the one that saved someone else, or that I'll tell. Until next time, you're loved far more than you could ever know. Take care of yourselves.